Hi, I'm Leia. I grew up on a small farm in Nebraska, where the horizon stretched far beyond anything my ambitions ever could, at least according to my father. I always had bigger dreams than tending to corn and cattle, but those dreams hit a hard stop my junior year of high school. Leia, come in here, my father called from his study, his voice carrying that tone that always made my stomach tighten. I pushed open the heavy oak door to find him hunched over stacks of papers, calculator in hand. What's up, Dad? He didn't look up. We need to talk about your schooling. My college applications, I was actually working on… Not college, your current schooling, he interrupted, finally meeting my eyes. The farm's not doing well. Haven't been for months now. What does that have to do with school? I asked, though the sinking feeling in my chest suggested I already knew. My father leaned back in his chair, the leather creaking beneath him. We need another set of hands here full-time. Your hands specifically. I'm pulling you out next week. What? Dad, I'm 17. I'm about to graduate next year. My voice cracked as I gripped the doorframe. Education's a luxury we can't afford right now, Leia, he said flatly. Your sister's already through college. Now the farm needs you. For how long? I managed to ask. Until we're back on our feet. My mother poked her head in, her expression already apologetic. Honey, I heard raised voices. Everything okay? Dad wants me to quit school and work the farm, I said, my voice hollow. James, we talked about this, she said to my father. We agreed we'd find another way. There is no other way, Marie, he snapped, unless you want to lose everything your father built. What about my college fund? I asked. Grandpa set that aside for me years ago. An uncomfortable silence fell over the room. My father suddenly became very interested in his paperwork. Your college fund is still there, honey, my mother said, but wouldn't meet my eyes. 3 months later, I was knee-deep in mud, helping birth a calf at 4 a.m. instead of studying for exams. I'd traded textbooks for feeding schedules, my graduation gown for overalls that never seemed to come clean. And I worked for nothing. Room and board, my father called it. You're getting experience worth more than money, he'd say when I asked about compensation. It was my cousin Ethan who finally told me the truth. He stopped by the farm one afternoon while my parents were in town. So how's the unwilling farmhand? He asked, leaning against the fence as I filled water troughs. Existing, I replied flatly. Did you know I'd be valedictorian if I'd stayed in school? Ethan winced. That sucks, Lay. Almost as bad as seeing your sister's cruise pictures all over Instagram. I paused, water splashing over the edge of the trough. What cruise? The European one she's been posting about for weeks? 20-day Mediterranean thing? His face fell as he registered my confusion. You didn't know? How could she afford that? She just graduated and hasn't even started her job yet. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. Look, I probably shouldn't be the one telling you this, but Aunt Renee let it slip at Sunday dinner. Your dad paid for it as a graduation gift. Said something about using some old savings account. The water bucket crashed to the ground. My college fund. What? My college fund, I repeated, a strange calm settling over me. My grandfather set up an account for each of us. I bet that's what he used. Ethan's eyes widened. No way. He wouldn't… Call your mom right now, I demanded. Ask her exactly what account my dad used for Jessica's cruise. 5 minutes later, Ethan's face told me everything before he even hung up the phone. Your grandpa's education trust, he confirmed. Lay, I'm so sorry. I nodded, something hard and determined forming in my chest. I need to borrow your car tomorrow. Where are you going? To find out exactly what my father's been hiding from me? The next morning, I drove Ethan's beat-up Corolla to the small law firm where my grandfather had done all his business. Mr. Harrington had been his attorney for decades. Leia, what a surprise, the elderly lawyer said, ushering me into his office. You look just like your mother did at your age. I need information about my grandfather's education trust, I said, skipping pleasantries. His bushy eyebrows rose. That's something you should discuss with your parents. My father used my college fund to send my sister on a cruise while making me quit school to work our failing farm for free, I stated flatly. So, no, I don't think I will be discussing this with my parents. Mr. Harrington's expression darkened. He removed his glasses, pinching the bridge of his nose. That fund was established as an irrevocable trust, specifically for your education, he said carefully. Your father was named trustee, but there were conditions. What kind of conditions? The funds were explicitly for educational purposes, nothing else. He leaned forward. Leia, are you certain about this cruise payment? I showed him Jessica's Instagram posts, time-stamped and geotagged across Mediterranean ports. $20,000, I said. That's what Aunt Karen told Ethan. Mr. Harrington's jaw tightened. I need to make some calls. Wait here. While he stepped out, my phone buzzed with a text from my best friend, Zoe. Stopping by your farm. Where are you? I quickly replied, at lawyer's office. Dad stole my college fund for Jess's cruise. 3 dots appeared immediately. What? I'm coming to you. Address? 30 minutes later, Zoe burst through the office door just as Mr. Harrington was returning. I'm here for moral support and to help plot revenge, she announced, dropping into the chair beside me. Zoe, I hissed. And you are? Mr. Harrington asked, eyebrow raised. Zoe Chen, best friend and future witness if needed, she said without missing a beat. Mr. Harrington surprisingly smiled. Good. Leia will need support. He turned to me. I've confirmed your suspicions. Your father withdrew $22,500 from your educational trust 4 months ago. This constitutes a breach of fiduciary duty. What does that mean? I asked. It means he broke the law, Zoe interjected. Essentially, yes, Mr. Harrington agreed. The trust was set up so that misappropriation of funds would trigger certain clauses. Your father would be removed as trustee immediately. Then who becomes trustee? I asked. Your grandmother, according to the succession plan. He shuffled through papers. Who, I might add, would be furious if she knew about this. Grandma doesn't know? The betrayal deepened. Apparently not. I've left a message for her to call me. His expression softened. Leia, this is serious. Are you prepared for the family conflict this will cause? My father already caused the conflict, I replied, my voice surprisingly steady. I just want what's rightfully mine. On our way back to the farm, Zoe helped me formulate a plan. You need to confront Jessica first, she insisted. She might not even know the money came from your fund. She had to know something, I argued. Dad's been complaining about money for years. Maybe, but wouldn't it be better to have her on your side when you confront your dad? We found Jessica sunbathing in the backyard, her tan deepened from her recent travels. Well, look who's taking a break from farm chores, she said lazily as we approached. How is Europe? I asked, my voice tight. She brightened. Amazing! The Greek islands were just... Did you know Dad paid for it with my college fund? I interrupted. Jessica's smile faltered. What are you talking about? My educational trust, the one Grandpa set up for me just like he did for you. Dad said it was from his savings, she said, sitting up straighter. He lied. I just came from Mr. Harrington's office. Dad took over $20,000 from my trust. That can't be right, Jessica insisted, but doubt had crept into her voice. It is right, Zoe chimed in. We have proof. Jessica's eyes narrowed at Zoe. This isn't any of your business. It is when my best friend gets robbed by her own father, Zoe shot back. Jess, I said, trying to stay calm. Did you know Dad pulled me out of school to work the farm for free while sending you on a luxury cruise with my money? He said you wanted to help with the farm, Jessica protested. He said you were taking a gap year. A gap year? I was 17. He pulled me out of high school. Jessica's face paled. I didn't know, Leia, I swear. What will you do when he's confronted about this? I demanded. Jessica looked away, her loyalty clearly conflicted. What do you want me to say? The truth, Jessica. That's all I want from anyone in this family anymore. By evening, my grandmother had arrived at the farm, her compact frame vibrating with fury. Mr. Harrington stood beside her, legal documents in hand. My father's truck pulled into the driveway, and I felt my heart hammering in my chest. "What's going on here?" he asked, taking in the unusual gathering on the porch. "Mom? What are you doing here?" "James Andrew Miller," Grandma said, her voice like steel. "You and I need to have a serious conversation about Leia's trust fund." My father's face drained of color. "This isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," I interrupted. "You stole from me, Dad." "I didn't steal anything," he blustered. "I'm your father. I made a decision for the family." "You made a decision to misappropriate trust funds designated for Leia's education," Mr. Harrington stated, "to pay for a cruise for your older daughter." My father's eyes darted between us. The farm needed nothing that required stealing my future," I cut in. "And Jessica's cruise definitely wasn't for the farm." "You don't understand the financial pressure." "Then explain it to me," I challenged. "Explain why you pulled me out of school, worked me like unpaid labor, and stole my college fund, all while telling me we were broke. Then explain the cruise." "Your sister earned that trip," he said defensively. "She graduated with honors. And I would have too, if you hadn't forced me to drop out." My voice rose despite my efforts to remain calm. "James, how could you?" my mother asked, emerging from the house. "We agreed the girls would be treated equally." "They are treated equally," he insisted. "Jessica got her education, and Leia will get hers eventually. The timing just didn't work out." "Didn't work out?" I laughed bitterly. "You made it not work out. You actively sabotaged my future." "I'm your father," he shouted, stepping toward me. "You don't get to question my decisions." "Step back, James," Grandma warned. "You've done enough damage." "This is my house, Mom, my farm, my family. And my granddaughter's trust fund that you illegally emptied," she countered. "I'll pay it back," he said, his tone shifting to pleading. "Leia, honey, I was going to replace it. Things have been tough." "With what money? The money you said we don't have?" I asked. "The money that somehow funded a Mediterranean cruise?" "I'm sorry," he said, reaching for my arm. "I made a mistake." "We all make mistakes." I jerked away from his touch. "A mistake is forgetting to close the gate. What you did was calculated theft." "Don't talk to me like that," he snapped, his face reddening. "After everything I've done for you, what exactly have you done for me lately, Dad? Stolen my education? My savings? My choice?" "I gave you a roof over your head," he shouted, "in exchange for slave labor. You ungrateful little—" He raised his hand, and several things happened at once. My mother screamed. Jessica stepped between us. Zoe started recording on her phone. "Touch her, and I call the sheriff right now," Grandma said, her voice deadly quiet. My father froze, his hand still raised. The look of shock on his face would have been comical if the situation weren't so serious. "You wouldn't," he whispered. "Try me," Grandma challenged. "Stealing from your child is bad enough. Assault would really complete the picture, wouldn't it?" His hand slowly lowered. "This isn't over." "You're right about that," Mr. Harrington interjected. "The legal proceedings are just beginning." 6 months later, I sat in the back of the county courthouse, waiting for my father's case to be called. The charges weren't criminal. My grandmother had opted for civil proceedings, but the fallout had been explosive nonetheless. "Nervous?" Zoe asked, squeezing my hand. "A little," I admitted. "I haven't seen him since that day." "You didn't miss much at Thanksgiving," Jessica said from my other side. "Mom burnt the turkey and Dad drank too much." After the confrontation, I'd moved in with my grandmother, who had immediately re-enrolled me in school. I was on track to graduate in the spring, a year later than planned, but with my future back in my control. "Case number 47293, Miller v. Miller," the bailiff called. Our lawyer, Miss Patterson, motioned for us to approach. My father sat at the opposite table, looking older and angrier than I remembered. "The parties have reached a settlement," Miss Patterson announced to the judge. "The defendant has agreed to full restitution of the misappropriated funds plus interest, and to transfer trusteeship permanently to Elizabeth Miller, the minor's grandmother." The judge nodded. Mr. Miller, you understand the terms of this agreement? My father's jaw clenched. Yes, Your Honor. And you understand that violation of these terms could result in criminal charges? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Settlement approved. As we exited the courtroom, my father approached, his expression a mixture of anger and remorse. Leia, can we talk? He asked. I hesitated, then nodded to Zoe and Jessica to give us space. I'm sorry, he said once we were alone. I thought I was doing what was best for the family. Best for who in the family? I asked. Certainly not me. The farm's been in our family for generations. I was trying to save it. By sacrificing my future? He sighed heavily. I made a bad call. I see that now. Come home, Leia. We can fix this. I studied his face, searching for the father I'd once trusted. There's nothing to fix, Dad. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine. What choice is that? He asked cautiously. I'm going to college in the fall. Pre-law. I smiled slightly. Turns out I have a talent for justice. His face darkened. So that's it? You're turning your back on your family? On me? No, Dad. You turned your back on me first. I'm just walking away now. Leia. Goodbye, Dad. Tell Mom I'll call her soon. Outside, Jessica and Zoe waited with Grandma. Jessica looked uncertain, caught between family loyalties. You okay? She asked. I will be, I assured her. Are we still on for coffee next week? She nodded. I've been looking into paying you back my portion. It might take a while, but keep it, I said. Consider it the price of learning who Dad really is. What now? Zoe asked as we walked to the car. Now I focus on graduating, I said. Then college, then law school. And your dad? Grandma asked gently. I glanced back at the courthouse where my father stood watching us leave. He'll have the farm, I said. Just not me. As we drove away, I felt a weight lifting. My father had taught me an unexpected lesson, that sometimes the people who should protect you the most are the ones you need protection from. But he'd also given me a new purpose. Hey, Jessica said suddenly. Do you think Dad ever pulled anything like this with your trust fund? She asked Grandma. Grandma's smile was sharp. He wouldn't dare. I've always kept a close eye on my money. She glanced at me in the rearview mirror. And now I'm keeping an eye on Leia's too. Do you think he'll ever understand what he did wrong? I asked. Some people never do, Zoe replied. But that doesn't mean you can't move forward anyway. She was right. I had lost a year and nearly lost my future. But in return, I'd gained something valuable. The knowledge that I could stand up for myself, even against those who should have been standing up for me. And isn't that the most important lesson of all? What would you have done in my position? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like mine.